High above the Mojave Desert, California, the skies witness an engineering marvel asleek. Tailless aircraft slicing through the thin desert air like a futuristic bird of prey. It was June 5, 1948, and the B29, a revolutionary design from the mind of aviation visionary Jack Northrop, was pushing the boundaries of what seemed possible. This is the story of a dream that soared high but ultimately crashed under the weight of its own ambition. A dream that would live on, decades later, in the most advanced aircraft ever built. Jack Northrop was not an ordinary man. Born in 1895, he grew up during a time when powered flight was still in its infancy. The Wright brothers had proven flight was possible, but the true potential of aviation was still a distant horizon. For Northrop, that horizon wasn't just a boundary, it was an invitation. By the 1930s, after years of working on traditional aircraft designs, Northrop had a radical idea. What if an airplane could be all wing? No fuselage, no tail, just a sleek aerodynamic surface designed purely for flight. This idea, known as the flying wing, wasn't just a departure from the norm. It was a direct challenge to the conventions of aviation. Traditional airplanes relied on bulky fuselages and stabilizers to create balance and control, but Northrop believed these were unnecessary. In his vision, the wing itself could generate lift, house the crew, carry the payload, and even provide stability, all while drastically reducing drag and improving efficiency. In 1940, Northrop brought his dream to life with the N1M, a small yellow prototype affectionately nicknamed the Jeep. Constructed from wood and laminate, the N1M looked more like a science fiction experiment than a functional aircraft. But despite its unconventional appearance, it flew, proving that the flying wing concept was more than just a fantasy. The N1M's early test flights were far from smooth. Pilots reported stability issues, control challenges, and a steep learning curve. But these problems didn't deter Northrop. Instead, they fueled his determination to refine the design. Over the next several years, he worked tirelessly, developing the larger and more advanced N9M. This aircraft, with its 60-foot wingspan and twin rear-mounted propellers, demonstrated the potential of the flying wing concept. It was faster and more stable than its predecessor, reaching speeds of over 200 knots. As World War II escalated, the U.S. military took a keen interest in Northrop's work. In 1942, the Army Air Forces issued a bold requirement for a long-range bomber capable of flying intercontinental missions. The proposed aircraft needed to carry a 5-ton payload across 10,000 miles, without refueling, a daunting challenge for conventional bombers. Northrop saw this as the perfect opportunity to showcase his flying wing design. With funding from the military, Northrop began developing the XB-35, a massive aircraft with a 171-foot wingspan and a crew of 9. The XB-35 was powered by 4 Pratt & Whitney R4360 radial engines, each driving contra-rotating propellers in a pusher configuration. Its sleek, boomerang-like shape was unlike anything the world had ever seen. But while the design was revolutionary, the challenges were immense. The XB-35's development was plagued by delays, technical issues, and shifting military priorities. By the time it made its first flight in 1946, the urgent need for a long-range bomber had diminished. The Allies had established air bases across Europe and the Pacific, rendering the XB-35's intercontinental range less critical. Still, the aircraft's performance was impressive. It could reach speeds of over 300 miles per hour and had a range of 8,000 miles, making it one of the most capable bombers of its time. However, problems with the propeller system and control mechanisms hampered the XB-35's reliability. Test pilots reported that the aircraft was difficult to handle during bombing runs, and its performance fell short of expectations. In response, Northrop and his team began exploring alternatives, including replacing the propellers with jet engines. This led to the development of the YB-49, a jet-powered version of the flying wing. The YB-49, powered by 8 Allison J35 turbojets, was faster and more agile than its predecessor. It could reach speeds of nearly 400 miles per hour, making it one of the fastest bombers of its era. But the transition to jet engines came with trade-offs. The increased speed came at the cost of reduced range, and the aircraft stability issues persisted. Despite these challenges, the YB-49 captured the imagination of military leaders and the public alike. In 1948, the aircraft set a transcontinental speed record, flying from California to Washington, D.C. in just over 4.5 hours. President Truman himself inspected the YB-49 during an air-power demonstration, marveling at its futuristic design. But behind the scenes, the YB-49 faced mounting obstacles. Stability issues made it difficult to perform precision bombing runs, and the jet engines consumed fuel at an alarming rate. Then, tragedy struck. On June 5, 1948, Major Daniel Forbes and Captain Glenn Edwards took the YB-49 on a test flight over the Mojave Desert. During the flight, the aircraft entered an uncontrollable spin. The crew struggled to regain control, but the forces were too great. The YB-49 broke apart midair, killing all 5 crew members. The crash marked a turning point for the Flying Wing program. While testing continued, the Air Force ultimately decided to cancel the project in favor of more conventional designs like the B-36 bomber. For Jack Northrop, the cancellation was a devastating blow. His dream of a pure flying wing seemed destined to remain unfulfilled. But history had other plans. Decades later, advancements in computer technology made it possible to address the stability issues that had plagued the YB-49. In the 1980s, Northrop's vision was resurrected with the development of the B-2 Spirit stealth bomber. Like the YB-49, the B-2 featured a tailless, flying wing design, but this time, it was equipped with the cutting-edge systems needed to make the concept viable. Today, the legacy of the YB-49 lives on in the B-2 Spirit and its successor, the B-21 Raider. These aircraft embody the principles that Jack Northrop championed: efficiency, innovation, and the pursuit of aeronautical excellence. The YB-49 wasn't just an aircraft, it was a symbol of a bold idea, a reminder that progress often comes from those who dare to dream beyond the limits of the present. While it never saw combat, the YB-49's influence is undeniable. It paved the way for the stealth technologies and advanced aerodynamics that define modern aviation. Jack Northrop's Flying Wing was a vision ahead of its time, and its story continues to inspire engineers and aviators around the world. This is the tale of the YB-49, a machine that soared, stumbled, and left a legacy written in the